Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Connect with the Nurse. So today we're going to talk about career burnout because it's so real and it's happening all across the nation right now. There's so many entities of career burnout, no matter what career you're in. I mentioned when I first started my platform that I would cover several different topics. And so today is not only geared for nurses, this is geared for whomever, whatever walk of life you're in, whatever your career is. Even if some people have retired and you feel like you want to come back into the industry, but not sure what you want to do. What are your thoughts on that? Share some of those thoughts with me. I would love to see your thoughts in the comments. And so with that, I want to talk about a few challenging aspects that I've noted throughout my career time and not only with myself, but even with some others as we kind of cover some topics today. We're going to talk about 3-4 things pretty much that most people do face when they have career burnout. And one of those things, most importantly, is basically identifying with self-care. And I think so many people today in the industry, in whatever your career industry is, we drive and we work so hard and we work so diligently trying to perfect everything that we do every day that sometimes we forget about one important aspect in that career path, and it's us. And so I want to talk about noticing those things and picking up on knowing when it is honestly time for you to stop and say, you know what, I got to take a time out and care for myself. It's always important to make sure that you're doing those things that's going to drive you, because if you don't implement some things that's going to drive you, then you will see that career forcing you to be driven. And meaning now you have to make some decisions because you've come to that plateau. How many of you feel like I'm at a plateau, I'm kind of tired of doing this, not sure what I should do? So first, identify with that self-care. Am I doing all I can do for my mindset, taking care of myself? Possibly getting some massages. It really helps. Scheduling it and then keeping up with it, because a lot of times when we start doing things, you kind of lose sight of those things that you were doing to make yourself feel better. Those things that you were doing as a comfort mechanism for you, to kind of help you in doing what you do with your day to day. And so those things that you love to do, spending time with yourself. It might just simply be, catching a movie, taking a walk. If you like nature and you're a nature person, it's just kind of being out, hanging out. And guys, what I learned is don't be afraid to do things by yourself. You don't always have to be that person that has a group of people with you and always have to have somebody attached to you, and you can never be alone. And then on the flip side of that, if you're always alone and you're not a big people person, sometimes perhaps getting with some groups, group therapy, talking through the challenges that you feel like you're having, and you can hear and lean on what some others are saying, how they deal with it, perspective, and what they feel like the ultimate goal is and the ultimate purpose is. And in any career, I think career-driven goals is knowing what is my ultimate purpose. What do I want to see myself do? What do I want to see happening while I'm going through this process and trying to put things together, piecing those decisions and those lifelong things that challenge you from day to day. So kind of getting acquainted with yourself, getting to know yourself, doing those things that make you happy. Even checking off a bucket list if that's what you feel like you have to do, but just making sure that you're maintaining a purposeful career. Because when you lose your purpose, that's ultimately when you feel like you have career burnout. And then another key factor is setting boundaries, in your day-to-day. Basically, those wonderful qualifications that you hold, that you possess, is knowing your limitations for those awesome qualifications And so what I mean by that is anytime you go into any career path in any career field, you know that everybody wants to know, what do you do? What are you good at? What are those qualifications? What makes you stand out from that next individual? And so once you begin that career and you get embedded into your career, it could be 10, 15 years on down the road. Everybody knows your qualifications, including you. Don't allow those qualifications to continue to be used or abused, for that matter. Know when to set boundaries. Take a time out. You know what? I know that I'm good at doing 1, 2, 3 on the job every day, but I feel like it's going to be good to bring in some others with a little bit more knowledge who can also help to level all of these concerns that we have within the company, or all of the issues that are arising right now. It might be good to bring in a few other people to help to make that more steady, so that you don't feel like you're the only one out there jumping and pushing and pulling. And then what we turn into is literally like a hamster on a wheel, just rolling back and forth, rolling back and forth. And so it's honestly just like in a relationship. What happens is a lot of times people may do what we allow them to do. And so with that, you just have to think from all aspects of your career. Is this happening to me? You know, is this something that I can fit into my life from day to day? Is this something that I need to know right now? So I would think about all of those things on a daily, so that you know where you are, you know how it fits in, you know where you're fitting in, and you know exactly what it is that you want to do. You know, another key aspect to making sure that you can identify with career burnout, you know, it's really like reframing from negative thoughts. Sometimes we can be a little negative and we don't like to always admit that, but you know, there is so many unpositive Pauls and negative Nancys that float in the careers, to where you have talked your own self out of something that you love to do so much. You might have lost the passion for it. So controlling those negative thoughts, and possibly even sitting down with a counselor or somebody, a therapist, to say, you know, what's next? Can I fix this, or is this not able to be fixed? And then if you know that there are some things I can fix, take a few moments to channel in to those things that drive you. What was it that I fell in love with about my passion? How has it changed from the time that I actually fell in love with this? Is it something that I can fix? Is it something that I can do different in my career from day to day? Reset, you know, control the mind, control your thinking, and reset so that you can feel the difference is happening. If you know that I've really got burnout, I'm really ready for a change, it's okay. Guys, it is okay, because we go through things on a daily. And one thing you realize is, do not be that person who is afraid of change. Sometimes change is better. Sometimes change is an improvement. Sometimes change gets you on a whole nother level and a whole nother platform, to where you feel like, you know what, this is pretty good. I like where I'm going with this. I like what I'm seeing. And so that ultimate thing comes up. Should I now explore other options in my career? Well, what to do now? What do we do? Well, what are you good at? You know, is it time to start thinking about owning your own business, opening up your own company, doing your own crafts, doing your own show, doing your own thing? You know, it's time to start saying, I've done this for so long. What other qualifications do I have? I'm going to take those qualifications. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to start making out me some key points. And I'm going to move on those things that I know I like to do. The thing with career burnout is, whatever you've done in your career, a lot of us have mastered it, whether you've gone to school or whether you haven't, because we know there's so many different things in life that you can do, and you never even have to hit a school a day in your life. But you've mastered it and you've perfected it to be your own. And so with that, you might want to build a business out of a business. Don't be afraid to do that. It's challenging, but I say to you today, challenge yourself in those career goals. Challenge yourself to be better. Challenge yourself to think about those things that you know you want, and don't lose sight of it. Don't lose sight of you. all of the self-care, making sure that you've taken care of you. Am I eating healthy? Am I drinking enough water? You know, dehydration as a nurse, and although this is not geared to nursing at all today, so I want to say that again, but I do have to implement the way you take care of yourself really depends on your outcome. It depicts a lot, you know, how you're feeling overall. If you're dehydrated, you're really drained, you're just kind of like, oh my God, and you go into a depressive state because you're not clear what's wrong with you. You know, an unhealthy diet, again, it puts that body in a down set because now I'm not doing everything I can to take care of me. But just watching those are just a few pointers that, you know, we can do better. Good exercise, good sleep, you know, sleep mechanisms always help us. A lot of great things to help you relax better at night. Ocean sounds, you know, if you're a person who like that, and sounds of rain, sounds of nature and things like that, that can help you even sleep a little better. So it's always good to hone in on those types of things that will help you to feel a lot better in decision making. And like I said, pairing up with somebody that's in that career who is probably a close friend of yours, if you can trust them and you want to rely on a close friend to have conversation about it, you know, bounce it up on somebody and get their opinion of what they feel like that plan is and that ultimate thing is that you should do, because sometimes that helps, hearing it from somebody else and then just acknowledging some of the things that you've already thought, or pulling out those things in you that you know is in you, but sometimes it's hidden because you go through so many things that sometimes we lose sight of those real things and those underlying things that's in us that we know can make a difference. And so I want to challenge you today to think about that. If you're experiencing career burnout, think about those things around you. What is the main root cause of why you're feeling like you feel? What can you do about it to make things better? How do you intend to move forward? What do you want to see different in the next coming couple of years of your life? You know, set goals, set those parameters. A lot of my own life, I set a lot of goals to get me from point A to point B. And setting goals, I just realized that I've got so much time that I'm going to spend in category A before I move on to category B. And I want to know that I have done myself just time to be able to do those things that I want to do, you know, and that I have created an atmosphere that's going to be comfortable for me to be able to think like I need to think. You know, that's another thing when you are trying to get things together in your life for the step in the process that you're in, because nobody knows what you want better than you. That's the thing that is so awesome about life, because when we're thinking about where we are in life and we're channeling in on those things that we really want to do, you know that better than anybody, where you want to see yourself, you know, how you want to see yourself. Set yourself up for those things that you want to do. And then that way, once you've set yourself up, you can go back and say, you know what, now I'm going to go over these things that I've got here. I'm going to see, when do I want to start this? If it's a career change, when do I want to start? What do I want to do? I want to redo that resume. I want to send it over here to this business. I might want to start my own business. So let me start getting some key points in line and some things lined up for what I'm going to need. The space that I'm going to need to be able to do this. The materials that I'm going to need to make this happen. And so those are a lot of things when you're thinking about career burnout, is having a certain path for yourself, not forgetting where you started. And if it's just a matter of remembering your passion for what you do and what made you fall in love with what you do. And if you feel like, you know what, I fell in love, but it's just not the same. Well, let me see if I'm going to do anything to make that different. Or am I going to just realize, you know what, it's time to go on a whole nother path. And like I said, it's okay. If you need to take another path, take another path. But just realize while you're taking that path, you yourself are going to have all your key points, all of your facts down, all of your timelines down for when you know you should start this new pathway. The worst thing that we can do, I think, in any career path that we take is really not knowing and then spend a lot of time in something that you really don't need to be in, if I can say it like that. But I think the quicker we realize that thing that we want to do, the quicker we can get past those things that's going on around us and make sure that we have really situated things ready for that career goal, ready to handle that burnout, identifying with that burnout, and then just making sure that we can conquer the burnout. So I hope I have helped somebody out there today. Send me some questions, guys. Send me some comments. I'd love to hear from you, and then we will definitely look to answer those questions and those thoughts that you might have. Thank you again for tuning in today for another episode of Connect with the Nurse. Take care. Bye-bye.